On November 20th, 1942, in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. was born into a working-class Irish Catholic family. The eldest of four children, young Joe grew up amidst the values of perseverance and community, traits that would later define his political brand. Financial struggles forced the family to relocate to Delaware when Joe was 10. Biden's academic journey led him to Archmere Academy, where he was both a football standout and class leader. In 1965, he graduated from the University of Delaware, double majoring in history and political science. Inspired by figures like John F. Kennedy and the Civil Rights Movement, he developed a growing passion for public service. He earned his law degree from Syracuse University in 1968, just as America was gripped by Vietnam and racial upheaval. With the legal credentials in hand, Joe Biden stepped into the arena of politics with idealism and ambition. At just 29 years old, Biden pulled off a political upset in 1972, defeating incumbent J. Caleb Boggs to become one of the youngest U.S. senators in history. But tragedy struck just weeks later. His wife Nelia and infant daughter Naomi were killed in a car crash. Left to raise his two surviving sons, Beau and Hunter, Biden almost walked away from the Senate before being convinced to stay by Senate Majority Leader Mike Mansfield. From that moment on, Biden began commuting daily from Delaware to Washington by train, a habit that earned him the nickname Amtrak Joe. During his 36-year Senate career, Biden built a reputation as a pragmatic and effective legislator. As chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, he played key roles in judicial confirmations, including the controversial Clarence Thomas hearings in 1991. He was also instrumental in shaping the 1994 crime bill, which drew praise for addressing violent crime, but criticism in later years for contributing to mass incarceration. His foreign policy expertise shone during his tenure as chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, where he supported U.S. involvement in the Balkans and later voted for the Iraq War, a decision he would later regret. Throughout it all, Biden remained a centrist voice in a polarizing chamber. After two unsuccessful presidential bids in 1988 and 2008, Biden's political fortunes turned when Barack Obama chose him as his running mate in 2008. Sworn in as the 47th Vice President of the United States on January 20, 2009, Biden became a key advisor to the nation's first black president. Their close partnership helped pass the Affordable Care Act, steer the country out of the 2008 financial crisis, and oversee major foreign policy decisions like the Iraq troop withdrawal. Biden also led the Cancer Moonshot Initiative following the heartbreaking 2015 death of his son Beau from brain cancer. His steady demeanor and experience offered a reassuring presence amid turbulent times. After leaving office in 2017, many believed Biden's political career was over, but history had other plans. Spurred by what he saw as a battle for America's soul against Donald Trump, Biden announced his candidacy for president in April 2019. Despite early stumbles, he surged ahead after a critical win in South Carolina, backed by influential endorsements like that of Representative James Clyburn. On November 7, 2020, Biden was declared the 46th president of the United States, defeating Trump with over 81 million votes, the most in U.S. history. At 78 years old, he became the oldest president ever elected. Sworn in on January 20, 2021, amid the fallout of the January 6th Capitol riot and a raging COVID-19 pandemic, Biden promised unity and restoration. His administration pushed through a $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, accelerated vaccine distribution, and passed the largest infrastructure bill in decades. Internationally, Biden focused on rebuilding alliances strained during the Trump era, rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, and navigating the controversial withdrawal from Afghanistan in August 2021. He faced growing challenges at home, including inflation, immigration pressures, and intense political polarization. Yet through it all, he maintained a no-drama leadership style rooted in decades of experience. As 2024 unfolded, mounting concerns about his age, approval ratings, and the growing threat of authoritarianism placed intense pressure on President Biden to reconsider a second run. After months of speculation, Biden made a historic announcement in early 2025. He would step aside and throw his full support behind Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. The decision was framed as a selfless act of leadership, prioritizing party unity and generational change over personal ambition. While critics debated the political calculus, many praised Biden for knowing when to pass the torch. In doing so, he reinforced a legacy rooted not just in service, but in the belief that leadership means knowing when to lead and when to let others rise. Joe Biden's story is not just one of politics. It's one of humility, endurance, and quiet conviction.